So, it's cold. We're on the road early. It's what, 10 past 6?
Yeah.
10 to 7, about 10 to 7, yeah. I left about 10 past 6. But we are out early for Dad. And what are you having done today?
Tune up.
And why?
Because we've changed the cam to a 475 SNS, and just to make sure everything is good for holiday, really.
Yeah, because we're running the FP3s on our bike, don't we?
Yeah.
So.
And it's good that they can tune off of that.
Yeah, we actually managed to find a dyno tuner local to us who reckons he can tune off of an FP3, which everything you look at on YouTube and that tells you can't.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can, and we'll give you a little bit of information and a little bit of insight how that is possible with any luck. Lots of noise coming today, so we'll
lots of noise.
Lots of noise.
I've got the ear defenders, so we're good.
Yeah. So we'll see what kind of numbers we can pull out of this thing anyway. So.
But it's not about the numbers.
Yeah, but it sort of is though.
Maybe a little bit. It's just to make sure it's all, the engine is good and safe. So, but it'd be interesting to see. So, let's see.
See you on the road. Breakfast of Champions. Huh? Breakfast of Champions. Here we are.
And that's in the building.
That's in the building. He's just getting it set up a little bit at the minute. He's doing a few pulls, seeing where it is and what he's got to do, and then he's going to let us in and do a few pulls and show us the results he's getting. So
we'll walk in the building in a minute.
Yeah.
See if it sounds any better. Let's do that.
Down the top end, up the top end, it's really quite rich.
That's what he was saying, yeah.
Yeah, it's bloody quite rich. It's sort of...
what end?
At the right of the full chat, so 100% throttle, anything from about 30-40% above 3.5. You can see on there, that's your air fuel scale. That's on the front cylinder. As soon as it gets to 3,000 revs, it's going down, and that's after with about 20% of the fuel pulled out already. But yeah, it's just putting more and more out. But that's I think what's happened is they've put the right map in to begin with, which was way too rich down the bottom end, and then the map they've put in, which has made it better, is pulling that fuel out and putting it at the top end. So it's made the bottom end feel better. But then it's these things, big Harley engines, they will pull anything. They'll pull when they're dead lean. They'll still make power, but it just muffles it a bit. It just stifles it. But yeah, we'll see where we're at now, and we should be all staying now.
Do you think so it's getting smoother?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Better and better and better. So yeah, just you see the green run was sort of with some changes in. It's getting that's just all the fielding. So just adding the fuel there and taking the fuel away there, just bringing it up, smoothing it all out, making it rev on a little bit more.
Excuse me a second. Have you only got plugs or oil?
It's in the white box on the counter.
Oh, it's in the white box on the rock.
And what is this one?
That's the first full throttle run
Yeah.
against the next run with some more changes in.
Yeah.
So put on some of the fielding charts. You'll see. So you can see it's still running really rich and still pulling more fuel out. So it's going off the scale. That last run is just where it's come up a bit more and you can start to see it. If we look at some of the, try and get a good comparison somewhere. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, is that air-fuel ratio there. So what we're doing, pulling the engine down to about 1500 RPM, winding open the throttle, so that's about 25% throttle, and then we're releasing the engine and letting it rev out, and we're sampling what the air-fuel ratio is doing. So anything higher is going lean, anything lower than the red line is going rich. And we've set the AFR target in the ECU to be 13 to 1, so we should be getting an air-fuel ratio of 13 to 1. So where it's going up and down there, we're telling the ECU that it's getting more air going into the engine, so it can calculate it needs to put more fuel in there, and then it's not getting as much fuel in there, air in there, so it's giving it more fuel. So we're trying to get it on this dotted line to begin with. Then when we've got it pretty much on that dotted line throughout the tables, we then can go into the air-fuel ratio target in the ECU and adjust that so we want it to run a little bit richer at full throttle, a little bit leaner where you're cruising to get better economy, and it's just trying to even out all these hills and hollows and smoothing it all out. But
But it was well out.
it wasn't not the worst I've seen. It's just could be a lot better, especially once you get going.
Yeah.
Over a long period of time, would that have done anything detrimental to the engine? Or like, say if we went where we're going to go and you're sitting on motorway speed,
Yeah.
83 mile an hour for long periods of time, anything like that, would that cause any issues?
This particular bike probably wouldn't, it wasn't so bad. Cruising would have been alright. When you whack the throttle open, it would have gone rich, but it would have been safe. You get a lot of these bikes where, like you found the first map, where it's going really, really rich at the bottom end. Yeah, all that does, it just blacks all the plugs up. We've had a couple, 2 bikes do it, where they've been running that rich, riding around for a couple hundred miles before they've got to the dyno centre, and it blacked up all the plugs. Then the plugs can't fire, then the coils will malfunction because it can't release the energy. So we've had some where they've destroyed all the coil packs because it's sooted itself up that badly.
I mean, I've pulled the plugs, you know what I mean? It's just had new plugs.
Yeah.
Like I say, I've pulled the plugs and they was a pretty good colour.
Yeah. Well, yours was alright. It was, I don't know what it was like on the old map. I would say
The original, when I first picked it up, all they did was basically flicked it to like the cam that it was running.
Yeah.
I don't think anything else was matte.
Not bad,
you know what I
no.
mean?
Well, it's what they do. If I show you on here,
As soon as I got the map from download from Vance and Hines, that was such a better run, you know what I mean?
what they do when they load in the map, when they run a feed to the cam, it wouldn't have done any of the switch offs or switch off all the emission stuff. It's just changing that VE table.
Yeah.
When it loads. Yeah, all that does, it basically just, they'll have like a preset, you can select which cam you've got, and it's sort of got a preset table of how much air it's, so they're all the VE tables.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've got across the top throttle position, so 3, 4, 5%, idle's about 4 or 5%, all the way up to 100%. And yeah, where you are on the RPM level, it gives you a number. The maximum we allow in there is about 130. And basically that's what it's basically saying is the amount of air that's going in the engine at one point. So the bigger number, the more air it's expecting to see in the engine, and then the more fuel it'll calculate. You go into your air fuel ratio table. That right there is an AFR ratio. So I've set it to 13.2 air to fuel ratio, which is where my dotted line is on there, if you see. You're not going to leave it, when it leaves here, it won't be set to 13.2 still, it will be altered, but you need to be able to achieve the number it's set in the ECU before we can make sense of setting all this table. But yeah, that one works in manifold air pressure, believe it or not. So instead of using throttle position, it works at vacuum pressure in the manifold, which is you're cruising around sort of here, 30-35, and then that's full throttle. Shut off is on this bar column, and as you open the throttle, you move across like that. And I'll show you this once I've set it to begin with, because what you're trying to do is set this so you've got an economical air fuel ratio. Because it doesn't matter if you set to about 12.5 or 13.5, you'll get the same power. Any past that, your power will taper off if you go too rich. But you want to be cruising where you're not drinking loads of fuel. But as soon as you go roll that throttle on, you want to give it as much fuel as it needs. And then at full chat, we actually run them slightly rich so that they're safe.
That's all I want, is it's safe.
Yeah, safe. And they've got in Harleys, they've got something called performance enrichment, which is a program. So when you whack the throttle, you can set it in here. Somewhere. But yeah, basically you set it to come on at a certain throttle position and a certain RPM. So on these, they're about 4,000 RPM and higher, about 80% throttle and higher. So where you're really whacking it open and going, and it enters into a program where, depending on how many seconds it's been in that state, it will add more fuel and more fuel and more fuel. So if you sat there with throttle open for a minute, full chat, it will be enriching and enriching and enriching. It'll get to the point where it's going that rich, just protect the engine and keep it cool. And then you'll roll off and it'll go back onto its normal mapping. But it's something that people don't know about. It's mainly for, you know, to make sure they're going to be safe if you really, really push it. But that's all active still. The only thing that's not really been such success in here, and we see it with all the Harleys, is the speed limiters. It's all disabled in here, but it's not disabled. It's still kicking in. And we get it all the time with Harleys. It's on all the newer stuff. The way they set the speed limits to come on, they can't quite figure out how to disable them on a lot of models. And it's all switched off, but it will. Fourth gear will rev all the way out to limiter. Fifth and sixth gear, it won't rev out to the maximum RPM. It'll hit the speed limiter. In time they'll figure it out. At the moment, that's still in there.
Because I think I did actually turn that off.
Yeah, it is disabled in there. But I'm just saying, just because it says it's disabled, that they don't. We can measure it on here. We can measure it.
So what will it rev to then? Is there a limit that it revs to?
The RPM limit is set at 6,000 RPM. It's only really revving to 50 gear 5,000, and it'll be about 4.5 from 6 gear. Does that need to be changed, or? Well, there's nothing you can do in the program. If you go to Vance and Hines, sometimes they'll admit there is an issue, like the same with Dyno Tuned, they say it's a problem with some of the new bikes and it's being worked on, so it'll come on in the future, but it's...
but it's fine as it is.
It's fine as it is, yeah. It doesn't, just fueling wise, I've mapped it up. What we do, we roll out in the lower gear so I can rev it out and check all the fueling, so that's fine. But other than that, other than speed limit, everything's working nicely.
Good.
So what I'm going to do now is we'll go through it, make some more changes again, slightly, just fine tune it all, get that bit right, and then I'll probably, after one of the set of changes, I'll do the AFR target table and just make sure it's cruising nicely, getting the right fuel. That'll be about done then.
Okay. Because in the end, that's all it is.
Well, you'll find, if you're, like you said, you're going to put some baffles in it when you go touring.
Well, that was what I was asking there. I just said to Mark about it. Would it make a difference?
It doesn't. it won't make much difference to the park throttle area, but where you start to open the throttle, depending on how restrictive it are, what it will do, it will restrict some of the power and it will enrich in it. What it's effectively doing is it's holding some gas pressure in there, and because there's less gas going out of the engine, there's less air going into the engine. So that's
it's not a definite that I'm going to do it. It's just something I wanted to ask.
Yeah, if you do it, it's not a problem. Stick it in. It won't cause you any trouble, other than the fact that if you start hammering it, it will just go a little bit on the richer side, which isn't a problem at all anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, it's optimised for open. If it's just like a small restriction, they don't really affect.
Well, the ones I see they look a bit like a cap.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just to diffuse it. Yeah. Well, that'd be fine. You get some which got like a dead stop in them, so the gas hits them and has to go all the way round and out. They're quite restrictive. But anything that just sort of turbulates the air and causes it to slow down, that'd be fine.
Okay. Okay, and it'd only be then, I mean, I'll just whip the ends off and they'll just sit there.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, don't worry. Otherwise, yeah.
But say it's got no cats in it.
No, that's fine. But yeah, you see what we're doing, we're sampling out of each exhaust so we can get a good air flow ratio on both cylinders.
Yeah.
Because it's got different VE tables for front cylinder and back cylinder. And you get it sometimes if you've got two on exhaust and you can't get the pipe up there. You're only really mapping an average. So you can have there's been times when there's one cylinder going lean and one cylinder going rich.
This is what when I picked it up.
Yeah.
It actually put a little light up.
Yeah.
We had a look on the Vance and Hines because that gives you info, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it actually came up telling me that the rear cylinder was going too rich.
Yeah, the O2 sensor pipe.
Yeah.
Well, the truth is on these, they're fitted with narrow band sensors, which are only ever good if you're trying to run the engine lean. You can't do anything with it. Vance and Hines, there's a facility on there called an auto tune sensor, and it doesn't work at all because all that band sensor can see is about above my finger, with my finger and above, and you can see it can't see anything that's going on down here. So what it ends up doing, it ends up running them too rich.
Yeah. They always say you're better off with wide bands.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to invest in wide bands, but then a lot of the time you can't fit them in the exhaust because they're physically a lot bigger. So it's a lot of messing about. Truth is, once we've set it now, that'll be set, and that's
but that's it. That's great.
As soon as you start fitting the auto tune wide bands in, you stick them in. They're constantly adjusting themselves, so you get air pulsation on a lot of these. So if you've got quite short exhaust, as it pushes gas out the exhaust, it actually pulls air back in, and you end up with this.
So you're better off with longer exhaust.
Longer exhaust, yeah, help with that. It helps with bottom and mid-range. Short exhaust is good for top end. It reduces the back pressure in the exhaust. But what you've got for touring is perfect. That's ideal.
That's good. Well, it's round all over really. So sometimes it's got no screen and bags, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a bit of both really.
Yeah, good all round.
But yeah, it is basically a tourer.
Yeah. The last thing you want to do is go abroad, annoy everyone, and then get fined for the exhaust and noise and stuff.
Well, it's only got really bad, obviously, since putting the cam in.
Yeah.
It weren't too bad before, and I say that now, and I didn't have baffles before. Now I've had to make baffles, and they're sort of that long.
Yeah.
Even though they're sort of still straight through. It's got baffles in it.
No, that's fine. It's not the worst I've heard. You see a lot of there's a mate called Jekyll and Hyde. You've seen their exhaust and they come with the air exhaust flaps in. That's a bit of a clever idea.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. They're pricey though.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's a lot better exhausts. I mean, I know it come with these exhausts, not these. Obviously, we put these on, and say I had to make them to get a cost, but here I can get new ones and they would be longer.
Yeah, no, what you've got is fine. If you're chasing every last bit of horsepower,
which I never was, you know what I mean? It was just, all I wanted to do originally was upgrade, because this is like one of the first ones being made, so it had the lower spec oil pump, so I just wanted to update that, get that rear bearing changed.
Sorry, excuse me, Andy, was it more than one key that kept?
And that was really it, really. You know what I mean? And Mark said, well, why don't we just put this in it? So it was buy that kit off an S&S and that and all the bits.
It's fine. I mean, you look at some raw power, I mean, we're not even up to full power yet, but if you compare some of the stuff people do on them, I'll show you some of the different cams people put in, and a lot of people get it wrong, and they put in horrendously horrible cams which end up ruining the bikes. I'll show you one we did the other week. That's got a 2-into-1 system, so you get this bit of a surge. There was one that I did the other week, and it's a perfect example of it. With the 2-into-1 system, standard cam. That was the, once we sort of set it up for the standard camshaft, and it's got a lovely torque curve, beautiful. And then he went for a power cam, and what that does is that.
Wow.
So that's not revved out, that's in a different gear, but what it's done, you've lost all this bottom end torque. Look where you're on the RPM, 3,000 revs. So you're down all that power, and then all it does is just ramps it right at the end, and it gives you the horsepower number. So horsepower wise, you're looking at it going, oh look, it's got another 7-8 horsepower, lovely. But where you're riding it, if you look here, you're down 20 pounds-foot of torque, 25 there almost. And it's the whole thing of what the numbers don't make any, it doesn't really sort of mean anything until you use it on the roads.
Yeah. So even now, I'm going to notice the difference.
Oh yeah, you'll notice it'll be a lot smoother. Don't get me wrong, it's not chalk and cheese like some of them are. Some of them, they come in running so poor, coughing and farting, and when you leave, it's like, oh, smooth again. What you'll notice, it'll be a bit sharper everywhere, a bit cleaner. You might get a little bit more fuel economy back on it, because although the AFR target was set quite lean, but because it was over-fueling the VE table, it sort of cancelled itself out. But what you will notice is when you're cracking on, it will pull harder at top ends.
Okay.
Cool. But yeah, I'm going to make some more changes, maybe run it once more, and then that'll be done, and we'll be away.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Go on, it's your bike, mate. I'm just...
That's the final result. You can see that red one's the last run. That's the first one.
What? The one at the top was the first one?
Yeah, then number 6, and then the last one there. Yeah, and if you look at the airfield scale, you'll see that red line where it goes all the way lean. That's why it's so, the power's down there. And as soon as it gets to 3,000 revs, it just goes dead rich, and it just dies off, whereas now it just keeps going and going and going. Oh. But we're trying to get that all, you won't ever get that bit flat, because that's where you're accelerating, so you're winding the throttle open, coming off the brake, and then it's all, where it should be now. But that is, I think that's the wrong one there, that's a single grab. That's the difference between...
So what sort of numbers was it pulling in the beginning, and what is it pulling now?
So the first one was, the max power was 69.5, whereas now it's 78.2.
Which is probably not a lot, is it? Because it's like...
It's meant to be a 100 horsepower cam, yeah. So...
Yeah, I mean that'll be measured at the crankshaft, which is about 15% on top. It's about, that is about what it should be. But the torque's not really changed, because obviously peak torque here was where it was kind of all right, but it was just after that it started to pull away. Put that one off. Put the wrong one on. But yeah.
Oh. But yeah, but like you say, it's so much cleaner.
It's cleaner, yeah. It's, let's say, just moderate acceleration. It's not changed an awful lot. It's when you're really pushing it, and just that bottom end stuff. That's where it will change. So it's not necessarily changed all the areas you use it in.
Yeah.
But it's now riding safe to use.
Okay. It's good. First ride, what's it like?
It is
smoother, it's pulling better.
Happy?
Try it.
Yeah?
Yeah, well placed.
I'll let you do the camera bit. Massively smoother. It just gets on it so much easier than it did before.
Yeah.
And it's just pulling right through. You can completely tell the difference. So all of the stuff online tells you that you can't have your bike tuned by a dyno if you're running a fuel pack free. We've just proved you can. So I'll put a link to the guy's website who we use to anyone who's got one and wants to get their bike tuned. Take it there, they know what they're doing. Happy? Oh, we're back.
Well, I'd like to say a big thank you to BSD for tuning the bike. They've done an excellent job. It is so smooth in every gear now. It just pulls so much easier. I don't know what the numbers say on the thing, but you've got to look past the numbers and it's just a different bike.
Yeah, well, you'll see a bit of the numbers with what we captured, but like he said, that's how they read theirs is different. So you had like 15% on top, and they're like, that's crank numbers.
Okay.
So it'll be more than what that sheet says, but that's what it's pulling. That's how they've read it.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was saying. So, but
Excellent job.
yeah.
So pleased I had it done.
And but Dyno, you're happy, yeah?
Oh yeah, but Dyno very happy.
So yeah. So just to remind everyone, in case we didn't capture it before, what did you have done?
From them or?
From original. So you was a stock 114.
Yeah.
As you had it.
Full S&S kit, cam kit.
Yep. When you had, what cam did you have put in?
475, and the S&S filter, breeze both sides. And it is running a fuel pack free.
Yeah,
which people say you can't tune, and you obviously can.
Yeah, they can be dyno tuned. That BSD who we've just been to, they can dyno tune an FP3, and it has made a massive difference. So I rode this before Dad had it tuned, and from what the guy showed on the screen, you can tell that exact difference. In my opinion, from what I could feel from riding it before, where it felt like it was struggling to give you the power, where now it doesn't. It's just smooth right through, and it's just constant power as soon as you're pulling. You change down gear and it flies. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, very happy.
Good. So that's it from us for this one. So yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And
BSD is at Peterborough if anyone is interested.
yeah, I'll put a link to the website down in the description. So if anyone wants a bike tune, they don't just tune Harleys, they tune race bikes, sports bikes, whatever you like, they'll tune it. So give them guys a shout and they'll sort you out. So thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.